So, welcome to the Level Up Mentorship Call 2. I'm just going to mute you actually because it's a little bit noisy with everyone in the background. So, if you want to just put comments in the page as I go through if anything's unclear, today what I'm going to do is literally run through step by step by step how to execute your sneak peek from thinking about it to finishing it and enrolling people. And it really is what I used to execute my last sneak peek. It's generally the strategy that I've been following for a long time and it works. So I always say, if something isn't broken, don't try and fix it. And what I'm trying to help you guys do here is just replicate exactly what I am doing. So I'm going to share everything and it should be, touch wood, foolproof in that respect. So I'm just going to share my screen. So let me just hit present. Okay. So we're just going to move through and talk about how to plan your sneak peek. So a lot of you guys, you probably heard me talk about this stuff before. You've probably had snippets of it, but I wanted this to be like a really concise resource that you can come back to and you can look through and say, okay, done that, not done that. I can also, I think I can just email you this presentation. So hopefully it will just help you without having to go back through the video. Just make sure you've ticked all those boxes. So how to plan your sneak peek, right? Most of you guys, we've just been discussing it. What date is the sneak peek? What date does the mentorship start? Okay. And those two things are fundamental because when you are talking about it in your stories, it is going to be really important for your audience to understand what date that info session is, with you talking about it a bit and also sharing like professionally produced visuals. So do those in Canva. I mean professionally by you, and what date the mentorship will then start. And obviously the mentorship should start after the sneak peek. I think one of the things that I see people doing is they do a sneak peek and then they haven't actually peppercorned or really managed their people's expectations, because they're advertising in their stories that there's going to be a sneak peek and it's already exciting, but there's no cutoff date, right? And if you don't have a cutoff date, like a coach mentorship start date, there is nothing that is going to motivate those guys to get enrolled because there's no FOMO, yeah? So that's super, super, super important. And just get crystal clear on that. I think most of you guys, as we've said, are doing it kind of towards the end of the week. That mentorship wants to start that Monday, and you want to be really clear on how many spots are going to be available. Okay, what's it called? I mean, mine's called Sneak Peek into Coaching by Izzy. Honestly, I'm not the most creative person in the world. That name seems to work well for me. You'll find coaches that say don't call it a sneak peek, and even Josh Coates says don't call it a sneak peek. But to be honest, it works for me. I'm not going to change it. If you can think of another name, like some people call it an info session. I don't know, info session to me sounds really boring, so I wouldn't want to go into an info session. But just think about, if you want to get creative with a different name, go for your life. Just make sure that it is reflective of what you're going to host, because if it doesn't connect with the content, people won't get it. The branding's obviously really important. You'll see with the way that I brand mine, it's very much my colors, right? So pale pinks, grays, that kind of thing, that's my jam. Whatever your branding is, and even if you haven't thought about your branding, that's something definitely that you want to think about, because the way that you move through these kind of virtual gyms, sneak peeks, your grid, your stories, you want it to be like, when somebody goes into your page, they know what colors they're going to expect. They'll be like, that's Izzy's kind of story, right? Because that's my brand. Okay. So just ask yourself that question and make sure that your branding matches the call to action visuals. I think it's just that whole complete piece that really builds that connection, but also shows that you're a professional, that you know who you are and you're reflecting it in your brand. And as I said, 2 weeks to call to action. Guys, if you are leaving it any shorter than that, you are just shooting yourself in the foot. And again, I've learned this the hard way. I know I did a sneak peek at the beginning of the year with a coach who said, we'll just do it a week. And I kind of felt a bit uncomfortable about it, but I was like, I'll just go for it. But it just didn't, I felt underprepared. I was like hustling to get all the people in the sneak peek. I was rushing my visuals. I felt rushed to the sneak peek, and I hadn't got excited about it, honestly, because it was all a bit disorganized. It was all a bit of a mess. And as I said at the beginning of the call, you really want to ensure that when you're doing these sneak peeks, that you have looked at your diary, you've worked out what's going on in your schedule. Is this a good day to be hosting my sneak peek in advance? And if it's not, change it up. Like I was saying earlier on, the Thursday for me that I was planning on doing it is really not a good day. So I'm like, okay, we're going to change that and we're going to do it on a different day. And I'm looking at it and I've organized it with my husband so that I can do that. And from the moment that you start talking about it, so what you'll tend to see is that say tomorrow, I might start talking about it. I might not produce a visual tomorrow, but I'm going to start talking about my sneak peek. That's going to be the following Friday. Okay. And I'm going to start talking about it. And then the next day I might produce some visuals, and I'm going to be inviting like mad from the point that my audience are even like a vague small bit aware that I'm going to have an info session. I'm going to be inviting like a mad thing. So every single person who is new that likes my stuff, follows me, watches my stories, I'm going to connect with them and I'm going to invite them to the sneak peek. And I'm going to make it very clear that I'm hosting a live info session all about what I do and how they can be a part of it. If I got them added to the group, do they want to learn more? No worries. If not, I totally understand. I just thought you'd be really great at it. And I think most of you guys have seen that invite, but I can share it with you afterwards. So just make sure that in this whole, it really is when I'm calling to action for my sneak peek, it's almost like I'm like, pressure's on. Okay. Pressure's on because eyes are on my page. I need to build FOMO as much as possible. So it is about me ensuring that I don't miss a trick in my stories. Like I am building that curiosity. I am building that FOMO. I'm sharing the team page. And really that I am just being that person that people are like, what is it she does? And you'll notice I position my post so that it's all about coaching. I might share trips I've been on. I might share my vision. I might share what it's done for my life. I might share why I don't miss that commute anymore. All of that jazz. I'm going to be posting on that for the next foreseeable until my mentorship starts. Okay. And be on fire. Okay. And that might sound like, okay, cool. What does that even mean? You really need to, with your energy, get aligned with what you're offering. Okay. So I always think about, I'm going to find my next best coach. Like I love getting new people into my team. I'm really excited. I wonder who it's going to be. And when you get yourself into that energy, you actually start to get really excited. And certainly if you've spent some time preparing the visuals, you've been organized, you've worked out the date, and you know that you have put in place everything that means that you can execute that sneak peek to the best of your ability, you are going to get excited about it. Okay. And that excitement about sharing that opportunity is going to build FOMO. It's going to build interest. So then again, when you're inviting, it's like inviting to a virtual gym. It's exactly the same. You invite, they want to see it all stacks up. Okay, cool. So they go to your stories. It needs to be really clear that you are hosting an info session, and you want to peppercorn the coach opportunity. So you want to talk about every single day in that 2-week lead up, something like what coaching has done for you, why you love coaching, maybe sharing the page, but make sure every day in your diary, you are talking about that coaching opportunity side of the business more than anything else. Because if you don't, people will get invited and then they'll go to your page and they'll look at your stories and be like, cool, she's not really talking about her info session at all here. Obviously not legitimate. That's just the kind of conclusion that people will draw, because it needs to be really blatantly obvious to them. It's not to say like you're not going to post bits of your lifestyle and everything else and just be true to who you are, but in the lead up, you really do need to kind of elevate yourself, sharing things like who joined the team last month, and I'm really excited to see who will join this month. I've got a visual I can share for that. And the content of the sneak peek. So you really want, and this was the fundamental thing that I think was really different about my sneak peek this time, you want to set the tone. Okay. And I went into that sneak peek thinking to myself, do you know what? I want a certain type of person. I want somebody who's like me. I want somebody who's driven. I don't want people that just mess around. I don't want just anyone. And I want it to be clear that this is an exclusive opportunity. Okay. And that is the way that I always execute my sneak peeks. And with that being said, it generally, again, creates FOMO because people are like, well, she's not making it available to everybody. And this is what I need to do. So I open the sneak peek. I thank them so much for, taking the time. And I say to them, before I start going into exactly, why I'm doing this and how I got into it and what it means for my life so that you can resonate with my story, I really want you guys to think about why you would like to be a part of this team and what it might mean for your life as I go through. Because for me, what is fundamental about the people that join my team is that I connect with them and their story is all about connection. Okay, so that's how I set the tone, and then I go on from there. And that, I'll tell you, like, they want to know what's going on. Then they're worried they're going to miss out. They know it's not available to everybody. I'm telling them how many spots are available. So at that point, I'm saying, before I'm going to go into my why, I just want to make you aware that I'm going to be taking 3 girls through my mentorship on the date, and just sound, professional with it. And I will say, like, fail to prepare and prepare to fail. If this is your first sneak peek, just practice a bit. It doesn't need to be like memorized like a script, but just practice, because it's going to give you confidence so that when you go into that info session, you know what you're doing. And usually I do my sneak peek actually on my phone, and I have the info to my left, and I say in it sometimes, if you see me looking to the left, it's just because I'm making sure I've mentioned everything that I want to cover. So don't have any qualms or worries about saying that. I think it's better just to be honest. Otherwise people just wonder why you're looking the other way. And really my view is, again, like, I want to help you guys see success as far as is possible. And the best way that I can do that is by getting you guys to replicate exactly what I've been doing, because it works. And I know, like, even Mackenzie and Danielle, they follow this format, and that's because that's what Claire and I did a long time ago. Okay, so the first video, I would suggest doing 2 videos. I think more than 2, it's too many, personally. Again, if you've got a different view, go for it, but this is working for me. So who you are, how you got started, your why, and where you are now. So that's the opening part. Okay, so you just want to think about who you are, how you got started, your why, and where you are now in your business. And of course for each of you that's going to be different, and I think it's really important to just be true to who you are. Okay, where you are right now, and perhaps sharing a bit of vision, like where you're planning on taking it. And the second video, I always go in and say, look, now we're going to cover the actual fundamental details. Okay, so we're going to cover what it is, who we are, where and when it takes place, your why, and how we coach. And in the same video, I cover off how we earn, commission, residual income, bonuses, and trips. And I do have a document that I've kind of amended many times, but it's got most of the details. I'll send that to you. And then at the end, we do a Q&A. And generally, like, I used to do this with, if I was hosting a sneak peek with someone would ask the question and I'd answer it, and vice versa. But the last one I did, obviously, it was just me. So I would ask the question. Now, I would just say in that Q&A, you really want to ensure, this is so crucial because you're trying to overcome people's objections here. What was your biggest concern about becoming a coach when you got started? What was your biggest concern about becoming a coach when you got started? Or what was your biggest fear about becoming a coach when you got started? That's key, because you can overcome somebody's objection before they've even given it to you. Okay, so usually in that, I will say, I was really worried about what people thought of me. And I didn't have a huge following. I had 100 followers. I had no idea what I was doing on social media, and how I overcame it was that I just poured into my personal development. I poured into our incredible global community, and I started to care less what people thought and more about what I wanted for me and my future family. And then talking about the kind of piece about the social media, I just say the wealth and breadth of training is so fantastic that I've just built my social media organically with the training that I've received, and it is phenomenal. And I'll often say, like, it's like I've done a social media degree, because truly I genuinely believe it is like I've done a social media degree. I think someone put a comment in here, hold on. Yes, so they're the pre-made questions. Yes, I do. They don't ask questions. I just say these are commonly asked questions, and then I answered the question, which is a commonly asked question. But yeah, what I tend to do in the lead up, Marty, is I produce a visual and say, if you've got any questions that you'd like answered, please share them here so that I can cover them off. Any tips on drawing people to your stories? Sorry, I've just seen that. I would just say use hashtags, hide hashtags, and hide your location. Those things will get you more viewers on your stories. They work really well. Something that I don't do enough, honestly. But I think, it's all to do with, in that 2-week lead up, how you're connecting with people and all of that, right? If you're going to connect with people more, and you're going to get more people following you back, and you're engaging and you're commenting genuinely on people's posts, you're going to get more engagement on your page. So the price comes last, and this is really fundamental. If you watch any of my sneak peeks, any of Mackenzie's, any of Danielle's, in fact, anyone's that I know, the price will always come last. And in that Q&A, I will also ask, how much does it cost to get enrolled? Okay, I'll ask that. But before I answer it, I always say, okay, so this is what you get. And I basically explain the entire challenge pack. Okay, I explain the global community and the ongoing kind of team page, the ongoing mentorship. I mention the training, that when they start, they're going to get quite hands-on kind of one-on-one training or group training. And then I say, like, for all of that is literally a one-time cost of what it will be, 140 and 162 this month, won't it? And then I say, and are there any other costs? That's another question. And are there any other costs? Yes, the only other cost that you need to pay for is the £15.95 or $15.95 business fee, which is everything you need to run your business. I don't go into the fact about the superfoods that they can decide whether or not they want it. I don't get involved with all of that in the sneak peek. I can have that conversation once they've sent me their why at the end. Okay. And I close out and say, thank you so much for listening to me. I'm really excited to hear from you guys. But as I said at the beginning, I really need to hear from you now why you want to join the team, because the girls that I consider for those 3 mentorship spots, it's really important that I've connected with that. So please send it to me once we finish the call via Instagram, Messenger, or email. And if you've got any questions, let me know. So that's kind of how I close out. So here, like behind the scenes, I think we've covered most of this, to be honest, but 2 weeks before the sneak peek, you're going to heavily invite to the coaching opportunity. And by heavily invite, I mean re-invite. Okay, so anybody that's been in an info session, anybody that's expressed interest in your sneak peek before, perhaps hasn't been in one, or you need to follow up with all of them. So you should have quite a big funnel already of people to follow up with. And also those people who perhaps have learned about your virtual gym, but they have never been invited to your coach opportunity. Don't discount those guys, because a lot of the time with me, like, I'll flip from a 2-week strategy of inviting to the info session and a 2-week strategy to inviting to the virtual gym. And those people that have been invited to the virtual gym actually haven't been invited to the business opportunity. So sometimes they're not aware of that. So you can drop those guys a message and say, hey, I know I asked you about the virtual gym and it wasn't the right time, but I actually wanted to drop you a message to see whether you'd like to learn more about what I do and how you could be in part of my incredible global team. I'm hosting a live info session on X date. If I add you to it, would you like to learn more? So it's just essentially you amending the invite, and you'd be surprised how many of those guys are also going to say, yeah, actually, I'd really like to learn more. And I think at the moment, this moment in time, this pandemic, with everything that's going on in America as well, this coach opportunity has never been in more demand. Like, I don't know whether you guys watched the national wake up call, but every single week at the moment, there's like over 300 diamonds that are announced. You know, that is unheard of. And that's because these people are wanting to come to Beachbody for the business opportunity. So you better bet we want to be sharing it with the world and its wife. Yeah, I unashamedly invite everyone, basically. I just go for it. And the lead up, I just go for it. So yeah, as I said, re-invite those in historic sneak peeks. Even if they're in the sneak peek you're going to host it in, just let them know, right? It is another invite. It's a fresh invite. I'm hosting another info session. Maybe it's with someone different, or, you know, maybe you just say, like, the world's changed a lot. You know, our team's doing really well. We need more people to help us. It's never been more sought after. Anything like that. Just tailor your invite. And make sure that you are, as I said, going back through your streak and your Teamsy to look at anybody that's been in a previous one. And for the most part, honestly, guys, the numbers when I do this are quite big, and I will blanket invite. So I'll just have a copy and paste and I'll just change their name, because there's no way I could go through that big block of people and individualize every single one by changing all of the wording. I just changed the name. If you have a partner who you're doing it with, or if you're doing it on your own, practice. Know what you're going to say, not like scripted, but know the fundamentals of what you're going to say. And particularly if you're doing it with someone else, that can be a bit strange to start with, because they're talking, you're listening. Then it's like, who's going to talk and when, and am I going to get that prompt? And you guys need to get used to talking with each other. And if you're doing it on your own, same story. Like, obviously you don't have that partner thing, but you will, even if you'd like, it reminds me of doing like my French oral at A-level, like just speaking to a dictaphone, even, you know, just kind of going into a room and speaking it out. It might sound like you're crazy, but honestly, I can promise you, speaking those words out loud as opposed to just listening and then coming to the sneak peek and never having spoken them out loud before, I can guarantee that's going to cause you issues. So practicing physically talking it is going to give you so much confidence. And for those of you guys in here, you know, a lot of you haven't done a sneak peek before. I can promise you, if you have that confidence of having practiced, it is going to make it so much easier when it comes to going live, because you'll kind of feel confident that actually, do you know what? I've got this because I practiced it and I know what I'm going to say. My dad always used to say to me, fail to prepare and prepare to fail. And it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. And be excited and believe in yourself. I think this is so fundamental, and it's something I always think of. I can't remember who said it or in which personal development book, as per usual, but I can always remember what they said. So we can choose fear or excitement, okay? They are two emotions that are identical. They run on adrenaline, fear and excitement, okay? When you feel scared, choose excitement. I'm telling you it works because that's what I do. And it is just making that switch. And I've just seen a comment. Now I can't see it. There's a comment up here. Yes. Yeah, so basically I was on a call with Shannon and Charlotte earlier, and they said they've worked out how to do a joint video, which I don't know whether the functionality wasn't working when Donna and I tried to do ours, because I used to do them in the past with other people, and doing a joint live video in Facebook worked fine. Then whenever it was that I tried to do one with Donna, it didn't work and we couldn't work out how to. So perhaps maybe you can just share that in the group afterwards. That would be amazing. Okay, week of the sneak peek. So you see how like there's a strategy to everything, and you need to be ready for this, guys. You need to be ready for hitting the floor with your, like, if you imagine your month, the week of the sneak peek, you are going hell for leather. You're going to be knackered at the end of it. I'll tell you that. Okay, so just get ready. If you're doing it right, you're going to be knackered at the end of that week. Okay, I'd rather be honest. Okay, get everyone that you've added into the info group to introduce themselves. Okay, so when you produce that introduce yourself slide, do you know what I'm doing? I'm immediately then messaging everyone in the group, hey, I hope you're doing good. You might have just seen I've just posted the introduce yourself slide. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself, that would be amazing, just so everyone gets to know one another. Yeah, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, bang, off it goes to at least, you want at least 40 people in this sneak peek, guys. And that's why the invites need to be high, because I can promise you, this is what Josh Coates says in that call, and it's so true. If you don't have enough people in that group, there's not enough engagement, and engagement builds trust, and social proof is kind of one of the biggest things as to why people want to join you. If they see that other people are interested, they're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm interested too. If you've got 10 people in there, it's not going to fly. Okay, and then once you've done that, perhaps the following day, so I usually do the introduce themselves visual probably on like the Monday if I'm doing it on the Thursday. Okay, and then maybe on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, dependent on which day I'm doing it, I'm going to share the visuals of the times of the sneak peek and what the content will be. And I think you've seen those slides of mine that basically say like 5 p.m. and that is in my sneak peek into coaching with Izzy. If you want to go and look at the visuals and replicate, please do. And also at the bottom of that, I advise how many coaches I'm going to be taking. So I am sowing the seed as to the availability of those places in my sneak peek from day 3, right? They haven't even seen any info yet, but they're already thinking, shit, if I don't tune in live, I might miss out. There's only 3 spots available. Okay. So make sure in your head, you know how many available. And I'll tell you a trick that I do. What I do is I try to look at how many people have shown interest. And this is like quite an intuitive thing. I look at them and I think there's been quite a lot of interest. So for this last one, I had so much interest. I posted this one, and I had about, I don't know, 30 girls introduce themselves here. And from that point, I thought 3 girls off 30, that's not enough places. So I then amended this visual so that for the next day, it was going to post 5 spots available, because I'd seen here, there were 30 comments. I was like, damn, 3 spots isn't enough. I didn't want to cut off, you know, opportunities for people who are generally interested. I could see that there was a lot of like excitement in there. Okay. And the excitement was there, guys, because I was building that FOMO in my stories. I was talking about the team, you know, and all of that. And I was sharing it in my posts. So this, you can always come back and amend. So I would go into it with an idea of how many girls you think you're going to take through. If you suddenly see like, oh, that's more engagement than I thought, change it. But I would say probably for you girls, like 3 off the sneak peek, given that you haven't done them as much as me, I think is realistic. Yeah, so long as you're getting 40 plus girls in there, I would say that's realistic. Okay. Right. Yes, and I wanted to just put see sneak peek with Izzy because it's all in there. You'll see them on the visuals. Okay, and the day of the sneak peek. Now, this is why it's so important to have your time available. These bullet points are really annoying me. I don't know what I did there. Because on the day of the sneak peek, again, you're going to need to like go for it. But it doesn't mean you have to tailor individual messages and like wear your thumbs out, right? Everyone that you've invited, you are just going to, even if they haven't replied, once you've added, you know, sometimes you add people and they don't reply and you're like, and they haven't replied to your please introduce yourself. I don't care. Like, I want to let these guys know when I'm going live, because it might be that they've just not seen my message. It might be that they're like, do you know what? I don't want to introduce myself, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to be interested, because they don't know whether they're going to be interested unless they watch the live info session. So I message everyone and say, just to remind you, it's the day of the info session today. I'm super excited to come live in here later on. I'm going to be sharing X, you know, and actually I often just share the visual. So I send that visual that's in the team page of the times of the calls, but I also send a personal message. And honestly, again, if you're copy pasting that to 50 people, you can do it in 15 minutes. But it is something that just don't miss that step. That was something Josh taught in that call that I've shared. And he said, like, on the day you want to be on fire, you want to remind people because they bloody well forget. And he's so right. And that worked really well for me. And again, like, be excited, believe in yourself. Like, for me, it sounds super weird. I'll often order myself a new top. It might sound crazy, makes me feel great. I know I'm going to look great in it. It's going to make me feel confident. I put on my favorite earrings. I put on all my makeup and I feel great. I blow dry my hair and I straighten it. Like, be that boss and level up, because if you level your energy up and you put yourself in that, right, I'm a professional now and I'm going to smash this, and you feel confident in what you're wearing, I can promise you that you are going to feel so much better and that energy is going to be felt. They don't need to know you've bought a new top or whatever. Like, you don't have to do that. That might not be your jam. But for me, I know that really works. Okay, so my new top for my sneak peek's already on order. So keep inviting, and honestly, like, again, like, you don't have to do what I do. You might be somebody that's like, I can't imagine dressing up. I'm not that kind of person. Well, fine, don't do that. Do what makes you feel happy. Do what makes you feel most confident. I love to dress up sometimes, and when I'm presenting the business opportunity, it makes me feel really confident. So I'm going to put my makeup on and I'm going to wear a pretty top. If that's not you and you want to wear like workout clothes because that makes you feel great, wear that. And even on the day of the sneak peek, any of those people that have fallen through the cracks or they haven't replied, go in your stories, share that, and be like, I'm so excited, I can't believe my info sessions later on, I'm so excited to share this opportunity that's brought so much to my life, whatever it might be. And then in the background, again, keep following, keep following up, keep inviting people that perhaps haven't replied to try and get those last few people in. So it is like, it's a bit of a scramble, but it's so worth it when you do that and you've got like 12 people on live and they're like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. And just let them know it's the last chance to catch it live. Yes, fear and excitement and the same emotion. Yeah, sorry, Marty, I've just seen that. My dressing gown will be offended. I mean, you could present in your dressing gown. Oh my God, so funny. 1 hour before, okay? And this is something that I didn't do this in the start, but again, like, if you look like the professional, they believe you're the professional, right? So if you're going to remind them 1 hour before with, again, a lovely branded visual that follows all the marketing for that, they're going to be like, wow, this girl means business, okay? She's being that person, you know, be that person you want to be. What would set your soul on fire if you're in an info session? If I saw an info session with all this like organized, like introduce yourself, then the times, then a reminder, I'd be like, this is the kind of girl I want to be with, right? She's organized. She's got her shit together, right? Produce a visual to remind them all in the Facebook page or event that you'll be live in 1 hour, okay? As I said, get your favorite outfit on, have you energized, and bloody well go for it. And have the info to hand to refer back to, okay? As I said, I use my Mac, so I'll be live on with my light ring here. My iPhone will often just be my iPhone, it's propped up, and I will just glance back. And I hate to ever equate what we do to sales, because it never ever feels like that to me, because I genuinely believe in it and I genuinely love it, and it's done so much for my life and it's done so much for the lives of my girls. But sales is the transfer of enthusiasm. So just remind yourself of that. If you're feeling flat, you will be flat. And if you're flat, it doesn't matter what you say. They're going to feel the emotion. That's really all this sneak peek is about. If they can feel your emotion and then they can connect with your story, you're going to keep them on for that second video, because they're going to be like, damn, I connect with that and I can feel her energy and I need to learn more. Okay. And during the sneak peek, this is just like an energy thing. It's just something that I've learned. Just as you're presenting, constantly think about the kind of person you want on your team. Like, is it a go-getter? Is it someone that's been in corporate life? For me, it's like someone who's been in corporate life and is burnt out and is ambitious, but wants something more and actually wants to help people. You know, maybe just think about that as you're going through. And make it clear that the people who join your team. So in the why section of the second video, you'll notice that I put the how, what, where, when, and why. And I reiterate in the why, your why. I say, like, I've said my why, your why is really important to me and I really need to connect with it. And just make sure that you remind them. So you tell them that how many spots are available at the opening of the first one, and you tell them how many are available at the opening of the second one, and you tell them at the closing of the second one, okay? So that it's very clear, you're not making it up. They're the number of spots that are available, and that's the requirements. Do you see how it's all about you maintaining that control? Yeah, that is how you will see that success, because they're going to look up to you and see that it all connects and you're serious about it. And then just make clear at the end of that video, I really need you to send me your why as quickly as possible. As I've said, there are 3 spots available and I need to have those whys sent across so that we can chat more. Okay, and they're all going to be like, oh, what does that mean? The other thing, and I've forgotten to mention it, and Josh Coates mentions this in the video I've sent you guys, so please watch it. He says at the beginning of his video, which I think I did in this one, I can't remember, that the first 3 people to join him will be entered into a raffle to win a voucher. And that, I think, this time is the reason why when I literally closed out the call and I had 9 whys from 9 different girls. I've never experienced that in my life. And then I think I've got it on the next slide actually. So yeah, there we go. After sneak peek centers, celebrate. Like, seriously, like, I'll often have a glass of prosecco because it's a celebration. Celebrate the fact that you've just done that. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for me, and I've done them a lot. It's a big deal, and it's damned amazing, regardless of what happens with the sneak peek. For you guys that are doing it the first time, you should be giving yourself a massive smack on the back, because that is a huge thing that you've just accomplished. And I remember the first sneak peek I did, honestly, it was not good. But I still celebrated because I came out of that sneak peek with this energy of, oh my God, I've done my first sneak peek and I know it wasn't great, but I know it's only going to get better from here and I can do this business. Because guys, if you can invite to a virtual gym and you can execute one, and you can invite to a sneak peek and you can execute one, albeit if it's shite the first time, who cares? You've done it. You've got everything you need to see success in this business. All you've then got to do is just improve. Okay. And that just comes through practice. Hold on. How, oh, sorry. I'm just seeing these. How much time between each video? It honestly depends. Like, I usually do it because I have a little boy at home full time. He's not going back to preschool and he's not going to go to school till September. And I need a 2-hour block because I haven't seen him, or, you know, the lead into the first video, I'm often, as I've said, inviting. And so by the time I've done that first video, I just need some downtime for a bit. And I leave 2 hours. I'll tell you why. I want to refresh myself. Between the 2 videos, I'm not inviting more people, right? I'm trying to kind of keep my energy. I'm unwinding a bit, spending some time with my family, and then I'm just coming to review what I'm going to talk about in the second video. So if you haven't heard from people when you close out those videos, and maybe they haven't sent you their whys, it again doesn't mean they're not going to enroll. I have a lot of girls that will enroll on a day, but I have a lot that, probably 50%, that will enroll 2-3 days later. So what I just want to say is, please don't feel that you failed or that that's it if you finish that sneak peek and you've got no whys, okay? I think most of the sneak peeks I've done, I've had no whys, okay? But it doesn't mean they're not going to join you, because again, you're talking about that mentorship starting and you're following up with them. But leave them, if you've done it in the evening, don't immediately follow up with them unless they're sending you their why. If they're sending you their why, that's amazing. Resonate and really connect with it. And I genuinely mean that. Like, you don't just want, if someone says like, I want to be a part of the team because I want to get fit and healthy, I'll be a bit like, okay, cool. You know, like that wouldn't be the first person I would reply to, albeit it would just, you know, be interesting to understand what it means to them. And I'm not going to turn them down, but I think you get a real sense with somebody's why, how serious they are about it, because some will send you a lot. And if people are interested, keep the pressure on. So just say, great, you know, whatever, I really resonate with this because of X, Y, Z. And often you will, because they've sent you their why, because they've connected with yours and they've connected with your story, which is why your why and that emotional connection at the beginning is so crucial and fundamental, because the people who connect with you, who are your people, are going to be the people that send you their why. And then just say like, I would love to offer you one of my 3 spots, but I do need to get you enrolled as quickly as possible. There's a lot of interest, and as you know, there's only 3 spots. So can you just let me know what flavor superfood you want, what your email is, and I just get it sent through. And then I edit the email always to the share a cart, and I explain. I'm actually going to send you the text that I sent. I'm going to just explain what it is that I send. I edit the share a cart mail, and this is quite good wording that I just kind of made up, but it sounds good. So I'm so excited for you to join my global team. So you pay, well, I put the $160 now, and then the $15.95 each month for the business fee, okay? Because you've covered it in the video, in the Q&A. They know what the cost is, but you're reminding them. The superfood, just see how you go. You can cancel that at any time, so there's no obligation. Let me know the moment you're set so I can get your space secured in my mentorship. They're filling fast. Can't wait to welcome you in. So I'll send that off. I'll copy the link, and I will then message them and say, please let me know as soon as you're set. There's so much interest. I can't guarantee the spot. Okay. You need to keep the pressure on. People need that to make a decision, honestly. Okay, so that's my text that I send. And always be like, I think the one thing, like you guys know me, like I'm quite punchy and I'm quite blunt, but I'm very polite. And I think if you're going to be sort of asking them to do something by such and such time, it is so important to be just thankful. Like, thank you so much for taking the time to send me your why. Like, I'm really excited, you know, just being genuine and being grateful. Then when you say to them after you've built that connection, I need you to do X by Y, can you confirm it? They're going to say, yeah, sure. Because you've understood them. They feel understood. Oh, that's that's from a previous presentation. So that is it. But that is literally, if I was doing my sneak peek, I might even look back at my own visuals to go through it. Like, that's just, has that been helpful? I'm just going to unmute everyone. Hold on. Oh, where does it say mute? Unmute. Oh, I have to ask to unmute you. Some of you guys have unmuted. Hold on, what's that? What if I ended up having more interest than the number of spaces? Yes, so this happened to me, and I ended up saying to people, because I literally had like, and I had amazing girls. Like, you would have seen, like, I've had some amazing girls join my team this month, and they're all incredible. And I just said to them, look, I said there were going to be 5 spots available, but you've got such a strong why that I can't not allow you in just because I don't have enough spots. That seems really unfair. So I'm going to open you another spot and make it available for you, but I do need you to get enrolled as soon as possible. So, and then when I opened that mentorship group, I just said, this group is bigger than I'd ever anticipated would happen. I just had so much demand, and you guys had such strong whys that I really just wanted to ensure that I let you all be part to this group. And they love it, honestly. Like, those girls, I think there's like 7 or 8 of them, and they love being part of a big group enrollment. And I think that is part of the reason why they're so successful, because they're all leveling up one with the other. And I think that's why I think your guys' sneak peeks all similar timings. When we get those girls in, you know, I can help you guys with the pod as well. Get them all into one pod, because that just creates that community. It creates that FOMO. It helps them all level up. Yeah. So Yeah, it's for me, it's never about picking and choosing. Like sometimes if somebody sends me their why and it's like, I just want to get fit and healthy, I might just say, and and how do you feel about the coach opportunity? And often you'll get to the bottom of the fact that actually they don't really want to do the coaching, they just want to get fit and healthy. You're not going to turn those guys down, but you are going to suggest that they just start with the fitness program. Kind of meeting people where they are is important. I've got, for example, there was a girl, Jo, that enrolled 9 days ago, and she said, I really, really want to just start by doing the fitness program and seeing how I'm going. And I said, that's cool. Let's just enroll you as a customer and see how you go. And actually that served me and it served her, because she didn't have the pressure of the coaching, a bit like Charlotte did, and Amy, did the programs for 9 days, loved it, and then was like, hey, I'm ready to switch to coach. And lo and behold, she's switched to coach, and in her first day, as I'm introducing her in the team page, she's enrolled her first customer. So just it's important to know that you still might have people come out of the woodwork from this that are going to be inspired by you. They want to join you for the fitness piece, but they're not quite ready to coach, and that's okay. You can still get them into your virtual gym or whatever, and just keep your eye on them, because they could be good coaches. Maybe they're just not ready yet.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's something I've learned the hard way, because I used to just enroll coaches and put them all in, blanket kind of group. And actually, with the benefit of hindsight, it would have been better to meet some of them where they were, which was not ready to coach yet.
Sometimes you need to experience it for yourself in order to know what you're going to do with the coaching business. Like you need to have some benefit for yourself to be able to sell the benefit to somebody else, don't you? I think
100%. The fundamental of this business is built on your own results and your own belief in the programs, without question. Yeah. So that's why boot campers are often incredible coaches, because they've built that foundation for so long.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want everyone's opinion. Oh, sorry, Marty, do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I was thinking about maybe adding in a team page sneak peek in there as well, just to get them excited before, and just be like, this is what's going on in the team page, or maybe a challenge group. Do you think that's too much, or is that?
I just wouldn't do it, because I've never done it, and I wouldn't change anything that I'm doing because I know it's working. So it wouldn't be something that I'd risk doing in mine. But that's not to say it's not to say it's a bad idea. It's just something I haven't tested. So I don't know. I'd maybe do the sneak peek according to this format first.
Because I think it was something I probably would have liked to have seen before, and it would have got me excited, because as soon as I got added into it, I sat there flicking through and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And that really, that was a lot of momentum for me.
If that's what you resonate with, as I always say, invite how you want to be invited. If that's what you would resonate with, then your tribe are probably going to resonate with it too. So do it. I think there's a lot to be said for, yes, this is what works for me. And I am loath to say change anything up, because I know it works and I want you guys to see success. But that being said, you're your own people, and you're going to attract your own people. So I think it is important to have an element of creativity. And if you really feel strongly about that, do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, so I get a lot of people that say they don't have Facebook. So I'm wondering if the day of my sneak peek, if I do both, one on Facebook, do that first video on Facebook, then go on my Instagram and go live for that first video, then kind of go back.
I'll tell you what I did, and I've forgotten to say this. It's a really good point. You just reminded me. The day of the sneak peek, what did I do? And did I delete it? The day of the sneak peek, I went in. I think it's still there. The day of the sneak peek, I went in live IGTV on learn how to become a wellness coach in my May info session. And that was, I think, 2 hours before I went live in my actual info session. So yes, I would say definitely. Because
a mini sneak peek kind of thing, or?
Yeah, if you go into my Instagram, it was on the 14th of May under my IGTVs. It's hold on, how long is it? It's only 2 minutes long. So it's a mini sneak peek into my sneak peek. But again, those girls watching my IGTVs, the ones on the fence about going into the info session, I didn't track it, but I suspect some of them still came in. So yes, I think there is a lot to be said for curiosity marketing now. I wouldn't give them everything in your IG, because then you're basically giving them all this exclusive info session without them having to go into it, which defeats the whole purpose of doing an exclusive info session, which means that it's not available to everyone.
The conversion of going from Instagram to Facebook, I found quite difficult. When I was trying to add people into yours, I had quite a few people who were like, yeah, add me in. And then the conversation, I was like, oh, great, can you send me your Facebook? I add you in. And then it kind of was like, people went a bit cold, because I don't know if they were like, oh, she wants to add me on my Facebook. I think people are a bit more precious about their Facebook rather than their Instagram.
I think it's the way you word it and your confidence behind asking the question. And the reason I say that is that, to start with, I always had that problem, but now I never do. And I just say, great, I'm so glad you want to learn more. Can you just screenshot your Facebook and I'll get you added to my private group?
Okay.
And that's kind of all I say. And then if they don't reply, I'll message them and say, did you want to be added? I'm going to go live. And honestly, if they're not going to trust me enough to give me their Facebook, quite frankly, like, do you know what I mean?
You add them on as a friend at all, or just straight to your page?
No, I add them as a friend. So I ask them to screenshot their page on Facebook. And then I find them. If I can't find them, then I say, can you try and find Izzy Bradshaw? I've
been sending a link to my Facebook page, and I just say, like,
you can do that.
If you want to add me onto Facebook, message me, info group, and I'll get you into our group, the kind of thing.
You could do that. You could send them the link to the actual sneak peek. The only thing that I know does happen, and I've got this, is that I can never remember my Facebook passwords. And if I get sent a link on Instagram, it doesn't link me straight through to Facebook. So then my view is, are people going to be in the similar boat and never get around to logging into their Facebook to get in? So it's just, yeah.
And also you lose the control of that. It puts it into their hands of having to do it, rather if you've got their thingy, you can just add them in and that's done. It's like a tick, isn't it?
It's this whole, like, even when you're having conversations, you're talking about sneak peeks, you're asking questions. It's like Brooke said in the Leadership Live last week or the week before, you always want to be maintaining the control. You're the professional. And I think that is fundamental to what we do here. Absolutely fundamental. Because they're going to trust you more. If you're willing to take the control, it shows that you've got that confidence. It's all like psychology, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that was really helpful, actually. It gives me a bit more confidence. I was freaking out about it a little bit, but it gives you a bit of a step-by-step guide to break it down, rather than be like, oh shit, I've got all this stuff to do.
Hold on, I'm just gonna, whilst you guys are here, whilst I remember, I'm going to send you, if you can just, while you're all here, this is something that Donna and I did, but this is what I've been using for ages. I'm just going to forward it straight to you guys. Okay. This is the script. This is basically the script. So Marty, what's your email?
mindfulwellnessfitness@gmail.com.
Oh, got it. Okay. And then we've got Amy. What's yours, Amy?
Amy.swift1.
Okay, got you. And then we've got Shannon. Shannon, what's yours?
SL Pinder 96.
SL Pinder 96. Yeah.
Yeah.
At
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Charlotte.
Charlcurry96 at gmail.
Charlcurry96 at gmail.com. And then we've got Imogen. What's yours, Imogen?
ukcountrylife@gmail.com.
Okay. And then we have Tasha. 2, 3, 4. I haven't got you guys on my screen, so okay, that's everyone. Right, let me click send. Otherwise, I'll literally put this all in, and you know what I'll do? I just want to send. I'm going to send it to you now, so that you can't say you haven't got it. That should be really useful. Even if you just get the document and you go, oh, it's too many words, but you kind of, that is basically what I use every single time without fail.
For your videos.
Yeah. So you've basically got kind of the text there, and you can, like sometimes if I had revision cards, I love those little revision cards, I'd like to put on there, but I can honestly say for me, I love to just have that up on my computer and then obviously I've done it a few times, so I know roughly what I'm talking about. But if it was you and you were doing it afresh, I would probably have a prompt card on the table that you could just look down at to just remind yourself.
Okay.
And you guys, as I said, like, if you want me to come in on any of your sneak peeks and cover off any of that stuff, then please let me know. Like, please let me know. I'm honestly there to help. I want to help you guys see success. As I've said, I'm willing to give you guys my time. If you're giving me your time and you are doing that tracker, then I'm going to do absolutely everything I can to help you see that success. So don't feel guilty or bad or anything like that for asking me. That's what this group is for. That's why I'm giving you my time.
Thank
and
you.
I also wanted to say congratulations to Marty, because she has just enrolled her first coach of the month.
Yay! Well done, Martha.
Straight out the gates. But yeah. Also remember, with these coaches, the sneak peek's great, but discount coaches are also super, super easy as well. So anyone that wants to be a customer who thinks they might want the product, discount coach.
I just have to say that, like, this person that I signed up today, like, I was just randomly chatting with them on Facebook yesterday because they live in my town, and I try not to do people around town just because, like, I don't know, that's, I guess, a wall for me that I need to get over. And I was just like randomly chatting with her, and then this morning she's like, I want to sign up. I'm like, oh my god. I wasn't even trying. So, like, I think if you have that feeling of like, not like that I don't care, but like I'm not reliant on this, it's like, I don't know, it just came back to me as her wanting to do it. So it's weird.
It's the mindset work as well. Like, if you guys are doing, like, I know you guys are probably going to go crazy because I talk about this all the time, but if you're doing like meditation and manifestation stuff, I can promise you, if you can get into that energy of pinning your hopes on one single person, like pinning your hopes on people is the worst thing any of us can do. I never ever pin my success on, is that person going to enroll and does that mean I'm going to be Success Club X or Y? Never. I did that in the beginning and it used to make me feel so stressed. Now I'm like, great, if you want to join me, great, and if they join me, great, and if they don't, great, because I know I've got a strategy that works and they're not right for me right now. So if you can get into that energy, even with your sneak peek, guys, even with your sneak peek, because I will tell you, there are going to be people that you send a card for the sneak peek. They're going to say they're going to enroll. They're going to enroll and then they're going to bounce, or they're going to say they're going to enroll and they won't enroll. So be ready for that and don't take it personally. It happens to every single one of us. I enrolled 9 coaches, I think, off that initial sneak peek, and 3 bounced within 3 days. So just know that there's going to be a certain percentage that are going to bounce, and it's not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on the fact they aren't ready. Okay. And if they're not ready, you don't have them in your team anyway.
What does bounce mean?
They just enrolled and were like, this isn't for me. I had one girl enroll and then she's like, this isn't for me, and like blocked me, which is like really nice. I had one girl enroll and then someone got coronavirus in her family and she bounced. And then there was another girl that had just enrolled with her coach business fee and was like, I hate posting on social media. I really don't like it. I was like, okay, well, that's not gonna work for you, is it? So I didn't use any speakers.
But did they pay? Did they pay and then just be like...
She'd enrolled, and I went to my coach office and it said she'd enrolled. But you know, sometimes coach office shows like people as inactive, whatever, because it takes a while to work itself out. And I thought it was just having one of those moments. And then she was still inactive. So the next day I messaged her and I was like, oh, you're still showing as inactive. Like, did you enroll with the challenge pack? She was like, oh no, I just did the £40. I was like, okay, cool. So you don't have any of the fitness programs. Like, basically, what's the point?
That's pointless, because you'd get that for free if you got all the fitness programs.
On my team anyway at that point. I was like, I hope you quit.
I had that with a coach. She signed up and I was just like, don't like you, and then she quit anyway, and I was like, okay.
And
I have one person on my downline that they're still showing up as under my personal coach, but then they have like their email and address blocked, do not contact, and they're not paying anything, or I think they canceled everything, but they're still showing up under my personal sponsored.
But I think if you can get into that mind space of, I respect myself more than to just allow anybody into my team, get into that space before you do that. Honestly, it makes all the difference, because they sense it in your body language that, hey, do you know what? this amazing opportunity is not available to everyone. She's looking for a certain person, and either they're going to resonate and know that they're your person and they're going to be like banging down your door, or they're not. But that piece starts with your own belief in yourself and your own sense of self-worth. And I don't want to have a really deep conversation about it, but I think once you're in that place where you really believe in yourself and you believe that you deserve a certain coach in your team, and you all do, because you're all super capable and you're all professionals and you can all nail this business, when you get into that space, people are going to sense it and they're going to want to join you. And do you know what? Sometimes you have to fake that kind of confidence a bit until you make it. I've definitely been there. But I'm so excited for all of you. I really, really am. I'm really excited.
Me too.
And honestly, like any input you guys need, anything you're not clear on the script, please don't be a stranger. Please don't think, oh, I'm in this Level Up mentorship group and so I can't ask Izzy questions because she'll think I'm like blah blah blah. I won't. Like, I'm here to help. So if there's something that's unclear or you need me to, you know, this makes your month, guys, this sneak peek. So I'm here to help.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording, and I really want to post